size business. And this is our first ever, actually, our Google Plus Hangout here. And episode 1, first of many of a series, I'm sure, of Ask the Experts. And for our first episode, I've actually got Melinda Emerson joining here. And she's our SMB expert. And she's here to answer your burning questions about running a successful small and medium-sized business. So hello, Melinda.
Hey, Robin. How are you doing?
Great, great.
I'm so excited to be here with you today to talk about my favorite subject, how to run a profitable and sustainable small business.
Awesome. So Melinda, so it's great to meet you here. I'm actually here in Wilsonville, Oregon here. Fortunately, not the sunniest place in the world here, but hey, so how did you become such a great, an expert in SMB and focus on SMB? Tell us about yourself a bit here.
Well, I started out my career, I was a television producer first, but I knew before I even got into the business that one day I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to own my own production company. So in 1999, I left my job as a television producer and started Quintessence Multimedia, my first company. After a few years in business, I started doing really, really well. I started winning awards, being asked to speak on panels and workshops, and a lot of people just started calling me and asking me for advice. Linda, I want to quit my job today. I want to be like you. I want to be an entrepreneur. Please give me the magic formula. And I would look at the phone and say, give me a break. You know, get off the phone with me. You love Prada. You can't quit your job. You know, go back to work. But the calls kept coming and more people started asking me for advice. And the first thing I did was I created a white paper, a special report called 44 Things to Do Before You Go Into Business. And that was my first foray into social media. And that was all the way back in 2006. That actually went viral on the internet. It became so popular that I eventually got a book deal to turn my little, 12-page white paper into a book, which became my national bestseller, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months. Basically what I did was I developed a system for people to transition from having a job to starting a business. I call it the Emerson planning system. I couldn't come up with anything as cool as the hedgehog concept. So basically I walk people through my 6-step system on life planning, financial planning, figuring out what skills you need to run your particular kind of business, figuring out who's going to buy from you and why, writing a business plan, and then here's my secret, Robin. I tell people to start their business while they're still working, because it takes 12 to 18 months for a small business to break even, so it doesn't make sense for you to cut those paychecks off, because once you cut them off, they're really off. So fast forward to when my book was getting ready to come out, I wanted to go out and make sure that everyone knew that I had helpful content. And when I first went out to Twitter, the social media platform that I decided to go to first, the day I went to sign up to log in, my name, Melinda Emerson, was taken. So I had to develop a nickname in an instant. And my dear friend Kathy Larkin, who her name is Kathy Web Savvy PR on Twitter, she actually said, well, why don't we come up with a nickname that'll tell people who you are and what you do? So she actually came up with Small Biz Lady, and now we know that was kind of the best branding accident that ever happened to me, because now I'm America's #1 small business expert. Who knew, right? So I reach about 1.5 million entrepreneurs a week on the internet. I write a weekly column for the New York Times on social media and how small businesses should and should not be using social media. And I publish a weekly blog called succeedasYourOwnBoss.com. So that's pretty much my story, and I'm sticking to it. Basically, my mission is to end small business failure, and that's what I do every single day, to give people helpful information to start and grow their small businesses.
Oh, well, thanks, Melinda. We're really glad to have you here, and hoping that everybody listening in has an opportunity to get some great insights from you. So, hey, we also have a couple other live participants here with us today for our first ever Ask the Expert session here, and that's Joel Morgan. He's the president of Philly Whippo Laser, as well as we've got Deb Kaplan-Jacoby, and she's the president of DebWebMarketing.com. So hello, and thanks for joining us, Joel. Are you there, Joel? Oh, I think he's talking here.
Okay, how are you today?
Hey, Joel. Thanks for joining us. And Deb?
Hi, nice to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, great. Thanks again for your time on this in this virtual Google Plus Hangout here. So, hey, Let's get started with some questions. First one we've got, and this one is from Vanessa McGovern, and she asks, can you talk about how to shift from the employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset? So Melinda?
Well, the first thing I want to tell you, when you're switching from the employee mindset to the entrepreneur mindset, the first thing that you must understand is this. When you are an entrepreneur, you kill for your dinner every day. So what that means is you've got to identify opportunities and not distractions. Because when you go to work, somebody tells you what to do, you get a check every 2 weeks. When you're an entrepreneur, if you don't work, you don't eat. So that's the first thing you've got to figure out when you're going to make that transition from being an employee to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'd certainly like to eat here too, for sure. Hey, thanks, Melinda. Hey, so we've got another question here, and this one is from Taronica Harrison, and she asks, how do you get private investors to spend money with an existing or up-and-coming small business? And I'm sure that's a question a lot of people ask is, how am I going to get some money to help start my business? I don't have any right now.
Well, this is the thing. The money to start your business initially is going to come from your right or your left pocket. So forget about investors initially. What you've got to do is show proof of concept. You've got to get out there and run your business well, get yourself some customers. Then you've got to start networking and showing people that you actually have something to offer. Investors typically look for good, strong management team. So if you're a business of one, I doubt you're really going to be able to get investors. But if you can pull together a very strong management team, those are the kinds of businesses that get investment. The other litmus test you want to consider is, can you put 1 million eyeballs on your product or your website? If you can do that, investors will definitely be interested in you. If you can't, well, you're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, bootstrapping like the rest of us. So make sure that you save your money so that you can start your business the right way, because the worst thing in the world to do is be undercapitalized as you start out in business.
Got it. Yeah, those were some great insights. And oh boy. So hey, Joel, let's go over to you now. Thanks again for joining us here. And before I ask you a question, I don't know if you could just tell us a little bit about your company here and how you got started.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, my name is Joel Morgan. The company is called Philly Lipo Laser, and we got started because we saw a need in the market for body contouring in a healthy, holistic way. We have a non-invasive body contouring method that helps and just actually slims the body down.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Joel. So what you got? I understand you got a few questions. So what's your questions for us today?
My first question for Melinda Emerson is, as a small business owner, what is the best way to use social media to leverage social media to increase my business?
Well, I would say for you, you are a local retailer, but the best way for you to use social media, because you have a service that slims people down, it's a weight loss product, you need testimonials. You need video testimonials from your customers. You need to be posting them on your own YouTube site, on your website. Your type of business is really going to be sold based upon people who've used your service and have seen results. So honestly, that's going to be your best method. You certainly can use social media to promote specials and coupons and things like that. But I think your best bet to use social media is video. You've got to get those testimonials out there, and you got to, create your own Jennifer Hudson, somebody saying how wonderful your product is. And I definitely think that's going to be a great way for you to promote your small business.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks. Great points to keep in mind when actually, I think about it. I actually have watched a lot of videos when I'm considering a product, and from a number of businesses, it's really helpful. But I always remember too that sometimes also some of the real basic nuts and bolts too is really helpful too. And here at Xerox, as we make a lot of products like copiers and printers and MFPs, and boy, they've come a long way from what you probably remember as that big device in the back of your office. And nowadays, they can become a real essential part of your office They can produce all of your marketing materials, your scan-in, customized content for you very easily and affordably, and it's not going to take up a whole lot of space in your office. So it can really become, in effect, a key driver for your, a central hub for your your basic communication, everything from business cards to sales materials and proposals, really in-house. So certainly great with the video, certainly great with all of the social media, but certainly there's something to consider is also some of the those capabilities. So hey, thanks to Melinda. Hey,
I also would add, one of the things that Joel might want to also consider, since his business is really locally focused, is doing a direct mail campaign that would pick up the zip codes in his specific target area. That would probably be a very effective thing, particularly because so many people are using email, are using social media. Actually, direct mail has become a lot more effective for small businesses, and that's actually something that Xerox can absolutely help you with.
Oh yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the direct mail. Nowadays I'm sure you probably get a whole lot of direct mail that's pretty impersonal. It's kind of a one-size-fits-all, and that's another nice thing that a lot of small businesses can take advantage of today, and that's really kind of create that personal message, that something that's meaningful to that user. And today's printers and MFPs with color can personalize it, so you can include a custom statement about your client, or a custom offer, a coupon, or something that helps bring that traffic back in the store in your direct, and making it a lot more, certainly a lot more effective. So hey, thanks Melinda. It's been very, very helpful. So we've got another question for you, and this one is from Deb, who we just introduced earlier, and so we'll go for her for question, and this is one from from the owner of Notable Beginnings, and she asks, I sell a service and not a product, and I am fiercely marketing my new business. I understand that repeat customers and word of mouth will likely be what keeps my business going. How do I get those initial clients to start that ball rolling?
Well, if they are a professional service business, the number one thing they've got to be doing is blogging. They've got to be out here demonstrating their expertise, because gone are the days of the traditional sales approach. Nobody wants to be sold to. The best sales pitch is no sales pitch at all. What you want to do is sell with information. You want to either develop podcast interviews, which are audio interviews. You want to be doing videos. You want to be writing helpful blog posts. You want to be developing white papers so that your best target customer knows that you are a resource to them, a helpful resource. Once you do that, your best target customer will find you. You won't have to go and chase them. So you've got to use social media really as what I call attraction marketing to really make sure. I would say that what she's probably doing is spreading herself too thin. You really need to focus on one specific social media platform, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, and then focus on that. Focus on your own website first. Make sure you've got a helpful website that's going to tell people within 7 seconds how you can help them. And those two things in combination really will garner your initial customers.
Okay, thanks. Some great insights, Melinda. Mentioned I was going to go to Deb here. So hey, let's go over to Deb, and thanks for joining us today. Before I ask you a question, hey, tell us a bit about yourself and your company.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My company is Deb Web Marketing, and I help companies with social media, brand management, and marketing strategy to have their company have greater visibility on the web. So my question would be about social media. And Melinda, really, how important are these likes and follows? We hear so much about that. Do they really help bring, sales in to a business? Can you speak to that?
Absolutely, Deb. Thank you so much for your question. when you think about social media, there's really a triple ROI to social media. First of all, it's return on investment. The investment, though, is your time, because all of the accounts are free, but you've got to put your time in to really make it work. Social media is a long tail strategy. It's not going to start raining money in your business the minute that you start using social media. The second ROI is return on influence. Now, once you consistently use social media, consistently go out there and add value to conversations, eventually you will build community with people. And once you build community with people, you can influence them. Okay? And then the third ROI of social media is really return on identity. And that is in your brand identity. So social media is really about brand awareness. You can't sell anybody anything until you get their contact information. So social media is nothing more than a lead source. But it is important. That's why you don't want to go and use one of those services that can run your follower numbers up or get you a bunch of fans, because if you can't convert those fans to have a conversation with you and really convert those fans to traffic to your own website so you can capture their contact information, they are useless to you. So absolutely it's important, but you got to hang in there. It's a long, I have gotten 100,000 more followers this calendar year from my business, from Twitter. But I work Twitter like a job. Make no mistake. You have to decide, which is going to be the thing that you put the most effort in. I do not think every small business needs to be doing everything. I think you just need to be where your best target customer is on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, Deb, thanks for the question. And Melinda, thanks for those insights. And I think about social media. So what you're saying, it's just not about the numbers, Just having lots of numbers isn't what it is. It's about action. And, when I think about for myself, what I get influenced by when I'm looking to small businesses is when they have something good to say, something meaningful to say to me that makes me believe that they're credible and capable of meeting my needs. So, hey, thanks. Another question that we seem to get a lot from is from people who own small businesses and they're just starting out on the social media. And most want to know how to get started and what's kind of the first step they should take to get going.
Well, again, the first thing that you should do when you want to start working in social media is make sure your website is great. If you have a bad website, using social media will not help your business, because at the end of the day, when they check you out, when they do a Google search on you and they go to this bad website that doesn't look credible, that doesn't have any helpful information on it, that's just trying to sell them or capture them the second they get to the site, those are all turnoffs. And the last thing you want to do is aggravate paying customers or potential customers. Now, when you're just getting started with social media, the first thing you need to do is establish a LinkedIn profile. 75% of all professionals in the United States have a LinkedIn profile. So if you consider yourself a professional, you need to have one too. Once you get on LinkedIn, I would develop a listening strategy, again, to figure out where your best target customer hangs out online. If you're just getting started with social media, you need to use the help mantra. Number one, you need to be helpful to others, first and foremost. Secondly, you need to engage with people. Don't just connect with somebody in LinkedIn and never talk to them again. Send them a note. Follow up with them. Actually try to get to know them, because people do business with like, know, and trust, with people that they like, know, and trust, even on the internet. And it's harder to get to like, know, and trust with people on the internet. So you've got to put your time in to actually engage with people to get to know them. Nobody wants one-way communication. Then you've got to listen first. Do not assume that you know the culture of Twitter or Facebook, because guess what? Facebook people do not like to be talked to like they're Twitter people. So you've got to make sure that you understand how the different cultures of the different social media sites work. And lastly, you need to promote yourself with care. Nobody wants to hear, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. Oh, by the way, buy my stuff. You need to promote yourself sparingly. I tell people that they should be using a 4-to-1 ratio of promoting other people's content over their own.
Wow. That's some great advice. Hey, Deb, do you have any other questions?
Oh, I have a million questions for Melinda. She is a very credible source. Melinda, what kind of support system do I need to help me further my small business, to help me move forward? What kind of people do I need to rely on to have around me?
Well, I think that if you have the budget and resource, it's very good to invest in a part-time social media virtual assistant to help you get started. This person should be copy editing your blog post. There's nothing worse than putting up a blog post that's littered with typos. The second thing you need this person to do probably is help you establish your blog, or maybe that person's going to manage your blog for you. You should treat yourself like the talent in your business. So you need to make sure that you're in charge of the messaging, of the content, but you can get someone else to help you do your actual maintenance of your blog if you're going to develop content. And you can also use that person to help do your social media push out using a service such as Hootsuite or Buffer app or Sprout Social or something like that. But you want to be careful that you're not having someone who's helping you respond to people online, because again, it's about building authentic relationships. Nobody tweets for me. I tweet for myself. If you get a response from me, it is actually from me, and people can smell a rat. So you want to make sure that you are always being yourself and engaging yourself, but you certainly can get people to help you develop your strategy and maintain your social media accounts on a daily basis.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hey, Deb, thanks for the question. And Melinda, awesome. I think about authenticity. It's, it doesn't matter whether you're on Facebook for yourself or for your business. What you're saying is you got to be real, and it makes a whole lot of sense. Hey, Joel, I think you might have a couple other questions. Joel?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Robin. I want to know, how can Google Plus and Google Hangouts help me in my business?
Well, you can do what Xerox is doing. You can start. Yeah, I mean, seriously, Google Hangout is terrific. If you want to have a meeting with 10 people or less, and not pay for it, Google allows you to do that as a free service using Google Hangout. But if you want to actually use it to grow your brand, you can interview people and you can post the content immediately to YouTube using Google Hangout Air feature, so you can stream it live on your own website. They actually, once you do a Google Hangout, there's actually an embedded code, and while we're looking at this right now, you actually can look at it live on my website right now, because you can embed the code in other websites as well as look at it live on YouTube to reach more people. So the thing that you've got to realize is that video is here to stay. I've actually just read a statistic the other day that said by 2014, 90% of all the content shared on the internet is going to be video. So everybody better be figuring out this video thing, because with so many people now using mobile devices, it's going to be extremely important for you to have content that is relevant. Don't just do video because it's cool. Do video because you have a reason. You have something visual to show. But I think as long as you're teaching people, entertaining people, and informing people, you'll do great with video for your business.
Wow. Hey, thanks. That makes a lot of sense, and thanks, Joel, for that question. Hey, I think we've got about 7 minutes left in here in this our first Ask the Experts. Joel or Deb, do you guys have any other questions?
Yeah.
I have one more.
Okay. Joel, go ahead.
Wait a minute.
All right.
Real quick question. Are there any books that I can get out there right now that, like a how-to, just a how-to?
Well, Joel, thank you so much for asking. I have a new book out. My book is called How to Be a Social Media Ninja, 101 Ways to Dominate Your Competition Online. Hi-ya, right? So if you go to my website, succeedasyournboss.com/ebook, you can grab a copy of it. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a webinar on December 27th, How to Be a Social Media Ninja, so you can grab that as well. So if you go to succeedasyournboss.com/ninja, you can check out my information to learn all the information you need to know about how to use social media to grow your business going into 2013.
Thank you.
Hey, I think Joel's mic was a little higher, so you got the first dibs there. How about Deb? You had a question.
Yes, you were talking about how to stay competitive. How does a small business stay competitive on social media when you've got a big brand with a big budget? But what about, like, how do we keep competitive, our small businesses?
Well, the great thing about social media, Deb, is that it is the great equalizer. It's still about that one-on-one personal relationship. So actually, Xerox doesn't have any more advantage than you do. They probably can throw more bodies at the problem, but it's still about authentic relationships. And actually, what you see large companies doing now is trying to appear small on the internet, because the small guys win in social media. And I'm a perfect example of that. I'm a walking, talking social media brand. I completely reinvented my my business and myself using social media. And so you can do it too. You just have to be consistent. You have to know exactly who it is you're going to talk to. You need to know your keywords. You need to listen to your competition and your customers. And that's one of the greatest things about Twitter, because you can listen and your customers and clients and competitors don't even know you're listening. So you definitely want to make sure that you're using social media to really build great relationships. Great too, if you are selling to consumers as your target, Facebook is terrific because you got 900 million, almost a billion people using Facebook at this point. So you've got to figure out where your best target customer hangs out online, and you got to be a solution. You got to be a resource. Gone are the days of hiring generalist consultants, right? People want to hire people that specialize in solving their problem every day. Hey, if I want to lose weight and I live in a market where Joel Morgan's business is, and I don't want to go to a plastic surgeon and get cut on, hey, listen, he's got a service that is non-invasive that can help me lose weight. Are you kidding me? The holiday you got a coupon for me? Come on. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Social media is great. If you build a better mousetrap, the world will be the path of your more, no matter who you are. So your small business can do great with social media. Social media is the best thing ever happened to small business owners, because it used to be the guy with the most money won, and that's not true now. Now content is currency. If you have great content, the world would be a path to your door. I'm guarantee it.
Thank you so much. You're so great. Thank you.
I was going to say that talking about that social media, one of the things I actually participate a lot, and I actually buy a lot of the products from the businesses that participate, are those forums. The enthusiast forums, and they get in conversations, and that business participates in that forum, responds to the user's questions, and I look at that person as an expert, and when they offer some products or services, I go to them, and because they're trusted and part of that community. So that's another source too. Melinda, is that any thoughts on the forums there?
Oh, I think forums are great, but forums are now taking place in a lot of different places. The Facebook groups are really forums. People's personal Facebook pages, my fan page, my Small Biz Lady fan page, people go in there and talk to each other. They talk to me. They talk about different things. They share other things. So there's a lot of ways you can create a forum. You can create your own LinkedIn group. I actually have a Small Biz Chat group on LinkedIn, and actually every week on Twitter, I host something called Small Biz Chat, where I convene small business owners from around the world, and I answer their small business questions just like I'm doing today, live on Twitter every single week. So I've created a forum to convene a live forum every single week live on Twitter. So there's all kinds of ways to build live communities and really leverage that for your business, because when you position yourself as the convener, you can control the conversation.
Oh, great. Thanks, Melinda. Hey, I think we got time for one last question here. And so, hey, Joel, give you the opportunity. If you have a last question there.
I'll defer to Deb.
All right, Deb, how about it?
Perfect. Melinda, how often do you think I need to review my business plan to keep fresh? Once I get it going, what do I need to do? How often?
Well, if you were an early stage business, really under 3 years in business, you should be reviewing your business plan every 2 to 3 months to make sure your business is on the right track. You do not want to treat your business plan like a historical document, right, that you put up on a shelf, never to look at again. You actually should be using your business plan to run your business. But your business plan is really a hypothesis of what you think is going to happen. So once you get some data points, once you find out who really is actually paying you for your product or service, you can make better decisions about where to spend your time marketing. So it's a great tool to use. If you have to plan for success, success will not just happen to you. So please, please, please use a business plan to run your small business.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Melinda. These are some great insights. I had a lot of fun for our first Google Plus Hangout here. And so I have to say it's time for us to wrap up first episode of Ask the Experts. And so, Melinda, thank you very much for being on our first episode here. And thank you for our live participants, Joel and Deb, as well as all the viewers. Thank you. And so for more information about making your SMB a success, follow at Xerox Office, that's one word there, and at Small Biz Lady, that's all one word as well, Small Biz with a Z, Lady, on Twitter, and visit www.xerox.com/SMB. And so again, thank you very much. And I'm Robin Wessel, and this is Xerox Ask the Experts.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much.